This is The Joe Gaither Show on BamaCentral.com.
Good afternoon, Tuscaloosa. Internet world, West Alabama, how we doing today on this Tuesday, February 4th? Welcome in to the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You're checking us out on the Bama Central YouTube channel. You're listening to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. The Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. You might be one of the many people who downloaded the show yesterday. And if you are, I really appreciate you so much for doing that. We are live in the Derek Daniel State Farm Studios, just off McFarland Boulevard, right here for another day with our friend Mason Woods. We're ready to talk about all kinds of random things today. It's Tuesday. There's no Bama basketball game tonight or tomorrow. So this show might be it might feel a little bit random, but we're going to stitch it together, weaving a lot of topics. We'll start. I don't know what we want to start with, Mason. First, you want to start by following Mason Woods at MAWoods_ on the Twitter machine and finding out how Mason Woods is doing. Good morning.
I'm doing pretty good. Doing good. Like you said, it's a pretty light week. You know, it's weird with not any midweek basketball games. I'm trying to keep up with the rest of the SEC, I guess. So we've talked about it on this show. I'm not one to hate watch the teams that I don't root for. So I'm not really I'm not sitting here watching if Auburn's playing. I'm not watching to see what's happening in Florida this week, what's happening in Tennessee. I'll keep up with the results, but I'm probably not gonna be super locked in. It's a nice easy week, man.
Tuesday night might be a movie night for me, and Wednesday I think I'm going to make it a church night. So that's how I'll do my midweeks. I noticed on HBO Max, Uncharted is on there.
Okay.
Did you ever play those video games?
I never had the opportunity to play.
Oh yeah, you're a computer video game, man.
I had an Xbox as a kid too. It's it was a PlayStation game. So I was a Halo. That was the only good exclusive that Xbox ever had. The PlayStation always blew them out of the water.
The Uncharted games were an incredible journey for an early 20s fella right there. Very modern Indiana Jonesy. And so I'm going to check that out a little. Yes, Tom Holland, Mark Wahlberg is in there as well. So I will probably check that out tonight. See how they look. Usually, a video game adapted to a movie is horrible.
I can't think of a good one. And the only one that comes in memory that I enjoy is the Mortal Kombat ones. But those are the cheesiest movies ever.
You enjoy them to laugh at them.
Yes.
You're it's cool to see the hero, the characters actually on the screen, but you're laughing at how bad it is.
Yeah, video games, it's always bad. I don't know why. They did good with the HBO, The Last of Us.
That was good.
I don't have high hopes for season 2.
I never played Last of Us 2. I played Last of Us 1. I didn't play the second
one. I didn't even get to play. I watched it on YouTube in middle school, high school, something like that. And it was a good game. I always wanted to play it, but again, was held back by having an Xbox. Probably could go back and do it now on a computer, but
do you just want my PlayStation 4 that I'm not playing?
Maybe we'll see.
Talk to me about it. It's collecting dust. I've got Red Dead Redemption 2. I've got a bunch of them. It's just collecting.
PlayStation grind.
I'm happy. I mean, it's literally collecting dust. You're welcome to it. If anybody's needing a PlayStation or has a son or somebody, if you're watching my PlayStation 4 is collecting dust, I'll play my 5 from time to time. I'd love to put it to a good use. We'll say that.
Watching wrestling, I think a WWE game. That's not really.
You should wait. March. The 2K25
is the. Them advertising it on the show. They pop up the overalls for everybody. That's fun, Yeah, I gotta get on that.
I'm looking forward to that for sure.
It's a pretty lame. Back. I mean, there's only one good SEC game this week, and even Kentucky Ole Miss. It's not like there's really any real skin in the game on that one as far as how it affects Alabama.
Kentucky Ole Miss tonight. What about Wednesday? Missouri Tennessee. That's going to be a good game.
Yeah, I did forget about Missouri Tennessee.
Arkansas Texas is kind of pertinent for Alabama just because those are our next two opponents. That's going to be tomorrow at Wednesday at 8:00 ESPN2. So if you're trying to get your scouting report on tomorrow at 8:00, that might be what we'll see if my work Do I focus on work or do I focus on church on Wednesday night? Do I watch Arkansas, Texas, or do I go over to church and say a little prayer and give a little thanks? We'll see. But you're right. I mean, when Alabama's not playing, I don't really care.
I don't lock in as much, and I think it's okay to admit that.
So what do we want to start with? I want to start. I've got a lot of notes. I've got a bunch of tabs open, and every tab has a small rabbit hole thought. Let's start with this because it's the only one that I actually took a note on that's not on my internet tabs. Yesterday, so happy for you, Scott Cochran. So happy that Scott Cochran becomes head coach of the University of West Alabama Tigers. And okay, we know West Alabama is not the University of Alabama, but my man's has to get back in the industry. And golly, I am just so happy for him personally with the journey that he has gone on from really grinding his nose off at Alabama and at Georgia, grinding his nose off to such a degree that, yeah, you succumb to addictions, you succumb to basically Adderall, ADD, kind of amphetamine becomes a scary thing. Do I have the story right? It's his wife who found him passed out? Someone found him passed out in a facility, and that's kind of how he got found out. He was kind of covering himself, really doing it, doing the best job he could while working with an addiction. There, gets himself cleaned up. Yeah, wife finds it. Oh, just terrible. Imagine.
I mean, that's probably rock bottom. You think?
Yes.
The good redemption story. I will always, anytime, no matter what, I will continue to root for anybody battling addiction. That's like special. That story especially really is like I will root for you 10 times out of 10, man. That's awesome to see him recover from that.
And what he's doing recovering from that, because I think at Georgia, Kirby would have had him right back on the staff if he wanted that.
Mm-hmm.
But Coach Cochran, it seemed from my outside perspective, that I need to take a couple of years. He's been doing speaking engagements and recovery projects and outreach projects within the community of, hey, you're dealing with addiction, you're dealing with pills, you're dealing with this and that. So he took some time away from football to, oh man, I was dealing with this. Maybe I can help other people deal with this. Now it seems like it's back to, hey, I want to get into football. I'm sure the addiction part would just, the recovery part will be an aspect of it, but
very inspiring.
Yeah, very inspiring to me, and encourage. I think that when you say the name Coach Cochran in Tuscaloosa, yeah. I mean, it's just.
Do you think people are still like bitter that he went to Georgia?
If they are, they're silly. If they are,
lose everything you had.
Yeah,
for a long time.
Everything you had, and I mean, while I do think that Coach Saban's decision was correct, he goes to Coach Saban and asks, "I want to get out of the strength room. I want to get on the field." And Saban either told him, "No, you're not ready," or "No, I can't lose you out of the strength room." One of those two. And because of that, he says, "Okay, well, I'm just going to go to Georgia." And Kirby did put him on the field. It's like, come on. Are you mad that he are you mad that he furthered his own career, that he put his family first, that he put his hopes in? I mean, look, strength and conditioning coach, that's great, but everybody has dreams, everybody has goals. I don't have any animosity. I don't think that Coach Saban was wrong to say no, but neither was Coach Cochran to say, okay, I'll just go make a different move.
Sure, yeah. I mean, I'll never dog anybody for trying to get better than themselves, taking a job that is, not just that was not a lateral move. It was an upgrade for him. So, like, it would have been one thing if he had jumped from conditioning staff to conditioning staff, but he didn't. He did get that on-field role.
He's a special teams guy.
Yeah.
And okay, the year that I worked for the football team, if you didn't know this, I worked for the football team the 2008 season, Coach Saban's second year, 12-2. Sorry we lost to Florida and Utah. That's my fault, not anyone else's.
I remember watching that. I was in the, what was that, 2008, 9, you said?
2008.
Fourth grade. And I was at my friend Matthew's house, and he was a Florida fan, and I was crying.
Well, you can blame me. It's okay. I'll take the blame. I'll take all the blame for those two losses. I definitely enjoyed Bourbon Street way too much for that Sugar Bowl. And
that was crazy. You try explaining to an 8-year-old Mason that the team you just watched win 12 games in the regular season lost to Utah. I couldn't believe what I was seeing. Because I did not grasp the concept of like Alabama didn't want to be there, buddy.
I don't think that was the case. I think there wasn't a Alabama didn't want to be there case. Utah really wanted to be there. The whole week. The whole week we were out on, obviously practice, and then after practice it was kind of out on Bourbon Street most nights that week, and you'd run into the Utah players, and it became a look how small they are, look how little they are. We're gonna bleep them up. It's gonna be, and then you had the Andre Smith situation. He basically signs with an agent beforehand, gets an eligible for that game. That became. They had that Lou Groza Award quick kicker, and he kicked like 4 field goals or something. That became just an ugly week.
Yeah, I just remember watching it, and my poor dad trying to explain to me kind of what was happening. I was just like, Alabama's better than Utah. Why are they losing? Couldn't explain it to me.
Anyway, point being, the year that I was working for the team, Coach Cochran ran all the scout team special teams. So you do special teams period, and obviously your starting punt return unit would be on one end, and they'd be with at that time it was Bobby Williams, who was the special teams coordinator. Well, you also have to have a dummy look group that gives them punt return, who's punting, and so Coach Cochran always did the dummy scout team special teams, and so I think that was 2008. It was 2008, and how long? 17, 18, 19 or so when he left to take that move at Georgia. So 10 years of that. I think he thought he was ready.
Anybody should fault him for jumping at the opportunity to have the role that he wanted.
Sure. And all this to say, congratulations at West Alabama. Yes. All right. Let's see what we're doing this year, Coach. Schedule. Opening a new tab.
Show live from West Alabama's homecoming game this year.
Okay, that's last year's schedule. Do you have 25? 25 schedule is not on their website yet. They went 9-2 last year, though. They beat Miles College, Tuscaloosa, Limestone. They beat West Florida. Their game against Valdosta State was canceled. They beat Mississippi College. They lost at Delta State. They smoked Chowan, Chowan. They beat North Greenville and Shorter. They killed Erskine 63-0. And then in the Division II playoffs, they lost by 3 points to Lenore Ryan University. So good little season last year for West Alabama. Division II program. So I think this is a perfect place for him to just try to be a head coach, keep giving back to the community. What do we think the standards are in West Alabama? I'm seeing from Wikipedia, they had not been to the playoffs since 2018, before last year. I'm not sure what happened to their coach. Gillian was named West Alabama. He resigned as football coach. So Brett Gillian moved from football coach to athletic director. Yeah. Brett Gillian moved from football coach to athletic director. He had been their head football coach, it looks like, oh my gosh, since 2014. So my man has been there. He had a 71-43 record over those 10 seasons or so. And now he is their athletic director. So
I would imagine he was very, very particular about who he handed that program off.
Sounds like it, yeah.
Scott Cochran, I hope he does really well there. I think he should do well there. Given sounds like he's stepping into a pretty decent program already, for the level that they're at.
Yeah, 9-2 last year, 5-5 the year before, 5-6, 7-4, 2-0 for COVID, 6-5, 8-4, 10-3. So decent little.
Yeah.
I mean,
he's not born on third base here or anything, but he's not having a rebuild either.
Shoot, I bet you if you're in Division II, Mason, though, every year's a rebuild. If I had to guess, and not to be like
you're
sticking that to you.
Yeah, I didn't even consider. Yeah,
guys go to.
There's a lot more turnover.
We go to. I'm going to the transfer portal. I'm JUCOing out. I'm quitting football.
I'm sure the day-to-day there looks a lot different than it does for a Division I coach, as far as just the headaches you have to deal with.
Yes, but think about what that will do for his if you want to go further, for what it'll do for his preparation. When he gets to
I imagine that is there's a lot of respect associated with cutting your ties in the Division II or whatever it is, not just kind of jumping immediately to a bigger job. Because of all of those kind of headaches and things that come associated with that job that are just not necessarily there at the higher levels. I hope he does really well. I would like to see him make his way up to the Power, maybe to the Power 5 one day, maybe at least Division I even. That'd be cool. That would be awesome.
Now that we're 17 minutes in and we've lost all the casual listeners and all the real listeners are still with us, who I really appreciate. You guys the best. I told Mason before the show, there's going to be a 0.02 chance of me leaving this gig. I'm gonna. Why not? The year that I worked for the team, Coach Cochran and I knew each other somewhat. I bet you if you told him my name, he'd say, "Who the hell is that?" But if you started giving some of the, do you remember this guy who said this and did that? And he used to call me Dave Matthews because I would listen to Dave while I did my charting. And so I did like the special teams charting and he'd come in and, go on, Dave Matthews, just like, because I'd just be space cadet. I'm gonna see if he's got a position that I'll cut the grass at West Alabama. And if that's the case, great. But if not, I'll cheer for you anyways. And I cannot wait to see what he does. I'm really, really excited for him. Yeah, absolutely. They're gonna be moved onto the radar. We'll say that for Coach Cochran. And I hope he does really well. Wins or losses aside, I don't know if that's really going to be the motivation at West Alabama.
Yeah, it seems like I imagine he's got a pretty long leash there to kind of a lot of leeway there.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a lot more about leader of men, building men, creating community. Wins, great if they come. Absolutely. So congratulations, Coach Cochran. I felt like that's going to be the best way to start this show with acknowledging his hire at West Alabama. All right, so what other tabs do we have open? That's Gillian. That's Jerry Curtis. That's basketball. Why don't we go to Jerry Curtis? Because we talked a lot about Ryan Grubb yesterday. Talked a lot about Ryan Grubb, his hire with the staff yesterday, and it sounds like the gang is all going to be together. Sheridan staying, great, no movement there. We talked about maybe his potential salary, and we guessed that it probably was not going to be changed, and all this, that, and the other. The interesting thing that I saw as it relates to Ryan Grubb is something that came from Andrew Bone on 3 Sports, Bama Online. Andrew Bone noted that Alabama had not offered a class of 2026 quarterback since early in the fall. And I think he was insinuating, I don't want to put words in his mouth, he does a great job and you should follow him. I think it's Andrew J. Bone on the Twitter machine for sure. They do a great job. I think he was insinuating that Coach DeBoer wanted to wait to continue to offer a class of 26 quarterbacks until the Ryan Grubb hire was settled. Now, they offered Jerry Curtis. They offered Jerry Curtis in the summer. They offered Jerry Curtis. I mean, this dude's going to be, he's supposed to be the be-all, end-all, greatest quarterback you ever seen, blah, 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 blah. We're all falling all over. You know how they do it. Last year,
every coach coming to visit him at his house.
It's so silly. Last year, Keelan Russell, greatest quarterback we ever seen. Year before that is Julius Zayn, greatest quarterback you ever seen. Year before that, Bryce Young, greatest quarterback. And now it's Jerry Curtis, greatest quarterback you ever seen. Insinuates that Kalen DeBoer wanted Ryan Grubb to basically put a stamp of approval in Ryan Grubb, that insinuating that, this is the big pick. And now that Grubb is in position as offensive coordinator, they're going to go even harder at Jared Curtis because all the staff is kind of all the pieces are kind of finally locked in. My question to you, though, Mason, be all end all, greatest quarterback ever, class of 2026. This is not Madden. This is not NCAA. I do think you have to have a quarterback every single class. But how do you balance? Okay, you got looking at Ty Simpson. Maybe he's the next be all end all. He's going to be greatest quarterback ever. Rah, 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 roll Tide. And then you look behind him. Well, does Austin Mack sit and wait? Does Keelan Russell sit and wait? Or then you domino fall and say, well, maybe Austin Mack wins the job. Who does Keelan Russell? Are you wasting your time recruiting are you wasting time and resources with 5-star premium? You're not going after, no disrespect to you, but you're not going after a Mac Jones type who's, hey man, maybe I can cook and marinate for 3 years and play my senior year. You're going after the cream of the crop, which makes me happy because I want to watch the cream of the crop here, right here in Tuscaloosa. But are you wasting your time? Because what happens? Jared Curtis, let's just say it all goes perfect. Jared Curtis commits, signs in December, enrolls early in January, and now you just have a bleeping stack. Does Austin Mack transfer out? Does Keelan Russell transfer out? How would you look at a quarterback room with the transfer portal and knowing what you have? I think it's a very difficult balance.
Yeah, it is, because exactly like you said, have a player of that caliber. I would say the vast majority of them are going to expect to, at the minimum, be able to compete for a starting role as a true freshman. He's already, if you're Alabama, say you're coming off a year of Ty Simpson. Ty Simpson goes out 2025, balls out, off to the NFL with your first round pick. We're all happy, great. All right, now you got Austin Mack, you got Keelan Russell. You only going to play Austin Mack for 1 year as well? Okay, that's cool. I'll send Austin Mack to the NFL. Same thing with Keelan Russell, just 1 year. You get into these situations where it's like, what, are these guys just going to start for 1 season, 2, maybe 2? And even then, their goal is to ultimately get to the NFL. So I don't think they're in the business of trying to stick around for 4 years. It's just it's very strange. It creates all of these log jams in every position group, really, but quarterback especially. I agree that you should try to go to quarterback every class because it's the most important position on the field. I just wonder if maybe you every other year you go after the blue chip number 1 overall quarterback, and then on the off year you go after, okay, maybe we just go get a 3-4 star quarterback, just kind of keep him, stick around as a backup, stash him on the bench for a season. I don't know. It's just weird. It seems, like you said, almost like a waste of time and resources when ultimately one of these guys will transfer if they are forced to sit for more than 1 season.
Jerry Curtis currently ranked 5-star quarterback, number 4 overall recruit in the 2026 in the composite. And he is the number 1 quarterback. He's behind Jackson Cantwell, offensive tackle out of Missouri, Emmanuel Iheanacho, offensive tackle out of Maryland, and Chris Henry Jr., wide receiver out of California, who is committed to Ohio State. So only Henry is committed. The other top 4 prospects are still in limbo. Jared Curtis has a crystal ball to the University of Georgia. Andrew Irving's director of scouting for 24/7 Sports writes, a big armed quarterback prospect with some moxie, owns a favorable build, measured roughly 6'3", 215 as a 9th grader, started football career off playing running back before getting a look under center, instantly found success in his new position, earning Mr. Football runner-up in Tennessee as a freshman, where he won 10 games. Not afraid to dial up the deep ball, tends to connect on plenty of vertical shots, also excels on hitting big hitting timing-based breaking routes over the middle. Shouldn't be classified as a true dual threat talent, but can move the chains with his legs and work off script when the pocket collapses. Camp footage shows both pace and touch. Must keep developing and learn how to read the complex defenses he will face at the next level, but looks like one of the top signal callers in the 26 cycle, likely to find success in a variety of different offensive systems.
But I recall many similar things being said about Ty Simpson, and here we are 2-3 years later, and we're not overly excited about the prospect of being a starter at Alabama.
You just think about an NIL, right? It's a finite resource, especially at Alabama. Are you going to use that resource on a quarterback that might transfer out?
Yeah.
Or just look at these 4 guys. Look at these top guys. Would you rather use it on Jackson Cantwell, a tackle? Right? Would you rather use it on? I mean, just pick a position.
Brooks, another really elite edge rusher, but same thing, you know.
Right. You need to use it on what's the guy? Garrett. Yes. Use it on these in-state guys. Of course, you need a quarterback to compete. Right. You need a quarterback to compete in college football. Like if you don't have a quarterback, you're up a creek without a paddle. Sorry, you're not. You just are. But what do you have right now?
You can't just hoard them either because that's not going to work.
I just don't know if that's the right if that's the right way to use your resources. Yeah. If you're looking at NIL as a finite resource, and you used to hear the Coach Saban discount, and Coach Oates gets a little discount because of the NBA system. I don't know how prospects are viewing the DeBoer system. I think the discount is done. Mm-hmm. So all that to say, I'm happy that Ryan Grubb is here. I think that's going to work out fairly well. I was talking about it with a friend last night. I think the CEO, the ability to let Kalen DeBoer really embrace the CEO type role and really say Grubb, Sheridan, and Washington. Grubb, Sheridan, and Shepard. I always think Jamarcus Washington. No, it's Jamarcus Shepard. Grubb, Sheridan, and Shepard all run the offense, and DeBoer can basically really step back into CEO role, and I think that's going to really help everything.
How long do you think that DeBoer knew, that Sheridan knew that this move was going to happen, bringing in Grubb as the OC? Because Sheridan and Kalen DeBoer were on the road together visiting Jared Curtis before this had all been announced, and I just wonder maybe what that conversation looked like, whether it was, I'm not the guy to talk to about what you're doing offensively, or did he just think, I'm the OC and we're going to treat it as Nick Sheridan's the OC, and then, we'll change things moving forward?
My guess is that as soon as Grubb was let go, that it was talked about. It was probably like, hey, this might happen, and this is how we would structure things. But until it does happen, you're still the offensive coordinator. And just to leave room for it not to happen. Sure. But I think the perception is not correct here. I think the fan perception, or just the outside perception, not fan. That's not quite right. But I think the outside perception is that, Nick Sheridan's ego is going to get popped. He's going to be upset that Ryan Grubb Now, of course, I'm not in the building. And the only interaction that I've had with Nick Sheridan has been through a media perspective. But my impression is that Coach DeBoer I think Coach DeBoer's soft skills, his people skills, are incredible. Sorry, I just do. I think his soft skills of talking to people and making you understand, and trying to understand the person he's talking to. I think it's a really underrated skill. And I think that you translate that to Coach Sheridan, I think it's hey, you had a good year as offensive coordinator. We're not moving you, buddy. Salary dollars staying the same. Salary dollars staying, and maybe even more. I have no idea. Salary dollars staying the same. You're still going to be co-OC. Look, man, everybody said he was the offensive coordinator. But go look at dagonrolltide.com. It says co-OC with Jamarcus Shepard. And what's the difference? Now we have 3 co-OC. I think that
a lot of lip service kind of create narratives here that maybe aren't actually there.
Yes, of course, Sheridan's calling the plays, and Shepard was down on the field dealing with personnel, dealing with wide receivers, and making sure the right personnel's in there, like communicating through.
They're brainstorming all week together.
Yes. And I think they're brainstorming. I think they were brainstorming in Coach DeBoer's office. Yeah. And, hey, Coach, what do you think about this? Yeah, love it.
Standing up there at the whiteboard.
And so you've had what you've had over the last 2-3 days. Oh, is Sheridan going to be moved on? Is his ego going to be popped? I don't think so. Based on the previous, a lot of the staff has been together at different places. We talked about it with Grubb, many different places. Sheridan has been with DeBoer, many different places as well. I think there's a continuity with this group of just like, okay, I mean, if Alabama's offense scores 55 points a game and average,
solves a lot of problems.
Yes,
you know, that'll ease everything over any speed bumps that arise this offseason, anything like that. If you go out there, you dominate Florida State week 1, you get rolling. Yeah, everything's happy in Tuscaloosa.
Yeah, my perception is I don't agree with the people. I don't agree with the perception that Nick Sheridan's gonna be mad or gonna be upset that Grubb's coming in here. Maybe he is, and I just don't know. Maybe. Okay, we'll leave a little room for that. But like,
I think he's still gonna have a really big hand.
Yeah, I do, and I think that the year that you worked this past year, what kind of equity did you build in Coach DeBoer's eyes? I would guess a lot of equity.
Yeah.
I would get, dealing with what you've had to deal with this year. Oh my gosh, I would get.
You saw it at the Senior Bowl, folks. I mean, come on. Like,
I was about to say something bad. You want me to say it?
What we got?
Did Ryan Grubb come down here and watch Jalen Miller throw for 2 weeks and said, no?
Love you, Caitlin.
I'm going to coach Geno Smith. I'm going to coach this 10-year vagabond in the NFL he's not a starter either. Is that what it was? People are like, he doesn't like Tuscaloosa. His wife doesn't like Tuscaloosa. Did he just come down and say, do I have to play? You got to play 4. You have to play 4. 4 has to start. What about 10?
Man, we got Ryan Williams. He's pretty cool.
10? Can we play 10? Is Ty Simpson wearing 12?
Is it 2?
Austin Max was wearing 10. Lonergan was wearing 12. Lonergan was wearing 12. Simpson was wearing
9, 16. I don't know.
He wasn't wearing 10.
15,
it was 15. That's right.
I was all over the place.
That shows you where we are. This shows a number 10 team.
We are a number 10 team. Number 1 in your hearts. We're talking number 10 on the show.
But yeah, hey, Coach, do we have to play 4? Yeah, you got to. All right, I'm going back to Seattle.
Austin Mack was going to start for us at Washington. Why can't he start here? Because, everybody loves him.
Team dynamics.
Look, man, I don't know how to explain it to you, but you bench 4, everybody else is gone too.
Okay, we'll keep it going. So there's Jerry Curtis. If you get Jerry Curtis, great. But what are you spending on him?
Yeah.
And how much are you going to get out of him?
Grubb left to take a better opportunity where he didn't have to uproot his family and leave across the country. Now, whether or not Jalen Milroe's play had any effect on that, I don't know. I don't think it was the sole reason. No, just obviously.
I think what you just said is the exact, like, the perception people, why didn't you come to Tuscaloosa? When you're here, of course you think it's great. It is great. It's a good place to live. I love living here, and I hope that if you're watching it, it's awesome. West Alabama, really, really good place to raise family. Lots to love about it. But if you had a choice to not move your family and get a raise and
coach in the NFL,
it's just obvious to me. All right, we've been doing pretty good here. 35 minutes in, stitching together a kind of random show. I've got more topics for us to talk about on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. But we want to tell you that we are sponsored by Derek Daniel State Farm. Of course, we are in the Derek Daniel State Farm studios right off of McFarland Boulevard. Derek and his team are upstairs. They'd love to talk to you. Red, Reese, and Victoria, they'd love to talk to you. 205-758-3391 for all of your insurance needs. You need home insurance, you need life insurance, renter's insurance, auto insurance, really anything in the insurance realm. Derek Daniel and his team can take care of you. They'd love to talk to you, run you a quick auto insurance quote, try to save you some money. Call them at 205-758-3391. Let them know that you heard them on the Joe Gaither Show. Say, oh, I know those jokers are downstairs spitting hot air. We want to talk insurance with you. 205-758-3391. Call and see how much Derek can save you today. Mason, you want me to play this Auburn clip? These because I had one before you started playing that clip, and I was like, oh, I want to play that. I was thinking maybe we would predict the last 9 games for Alabama since it's a bye week. But somebody's already predicting the Auburn Tigers final 9 games.
Before we do that.
Okay, go. Yeah, please.
We talked about the Friday we got on the show. Yay, Alabama drops pop stroke outing with Alabama men's basketball.
Did they?
Yes.
Great job!
Yes. I don't know what I'm second seeing how long this video is.
It doesn't matter.
No.
Great job.
Please subscribe to view this content.
Perfect. A
More of that.
plus. A plus.
Yes.
Well done. You know, we criticized you yesterday a little bit.
They listened and they adjusted.
I'm happy to give flowers when there are flowers to be given. The context, we were reading an article about Alabama's bye week before the basketball's bye week before the show got started. What are they going to do with their bye week? Coach Oates says we're going to practice hard twice this week. Oh, no, I'm going to adjust my practice plan. We're only going to practice hard once this week. And says to the Birmingham Tip-Off Club that, oh, we practiced kind of light and then we went and played putt-putt. And Mason and I go, oh, yeah, Alabama should have been out there filming the putt-putt game and making it into a Mark Sears wins putt-putt. Cliff O'Maury wins putt-putt. Whatever the case may be. Well done, yay, Alabama. Well, perfect content. And that is exactly what the people are going to pay for. What do you see any more details to it? I mean, obviously, we don't want to give their content away.
Yeah, no, really. I mean, not really. They posted about it looks like about a minute-long teaser video on Twitter with it.
Perfect.
I'm assuming they hopefully have a longer form video once you pay for it. But you click on that link, it was immediate. Please subscribe to this content. Hey, that's all right.
That's exactly what, because you guys have the access to the players more than I do, more than anyone else does. You don't have to go into practice and film like, hey, this is horns. This is how we do horns. This is how we do this. You know, whatever.
That's not even what the people are interested in. They say, people say, well, I'd love to see practice. They want to see this kind of stuff. Pop stroke, playing mini golf, like whatever. They just want to see the personality.
The boys are in probably groups of 4.
Yeah.
Sending them off in groups of 3 or 4 and just have a camera around. And I'm sure they're talking all kinds of mess to each other. Who cares? That's part of it, Great job.
Good editors that know what they're doing.
Yeah. Good job, Yale. Well done. So look, if you want to see how the guys did playing putt-putt, it looks like you can go subscribe at Yay Alabama. Well done. That's exactly what you're looking for.
Yeah, perfect. I'm very happy.
Don't put freaking news behind a paywall. Put the personality. Here's what Mark Sears likes to eat for dinner.
Now we need Ryan Grubb, Kalen DeBoer, pop stroke on Yay Alabama.
No. Nick Sheridan, Ryan Grubb, Jim Marcus Shepard. There's 2 courses at Pop Stroke if you haven't been. It's like I think they're red, blue, and black or something. Both courses, conglomerate score, winner's the offensive coordinator. Other 2 guys, demoted. Winner calls the plays. And they can go out every Sunday of the season and just next game. Hey man, you called such a bad play on 3rd down. I'm going to get this.
Hey, you get some subscribers, I'll tell you what.
Shoot, they'd watch that video every Sunday to find out who's calling the plays the next week.
Just to know who it is.
Yes, exactly. exactly. So I want to play this video. Who's this from? This is from Ashton Daniels.
Friend.
I don't know you, Ashton Daniels. I don't know what this is about. But Ashton Daniels predicts the Auburn Tigers' last 9 games. And here he goes.
I do have to give a bold... I don't even think it's that bold of a prediction. You saw plenty of people before the season started say Auburn's the best team in this conference. They're going to lose some games, though. But I look at the schedule now, and Auburn is not going to lose a home game. I don't care who it's against. Auburn is not losing at home. And then look at the away games. At Vanderbilt, at Alabama, at Texas A&M, and at Kentucky. Auburn is not losing in the regular season yet again. Auburn is going 18-0 in SEC play. No one else thinks that that's going to happen in the media, but I'm telling you right now it is. Auburn's not going to lose a home game. I mean, that's not even a debate. At Vanderbilt, should be a pretty easy win. At Alabama, that's going to be our toughest test. We could lose that game, but I think we're so much better than them on the defensive end, and we're going to be able to dominate them on offense. They don't have an answer for Broom. Then you look at Kentucky, they don't play defense. We're going to win that. And then you look at A&M, I think that's the second toughest one. That's going to be a really tough game at the end. But I think, again, I just think we're that much better than them.
18-0. Okay. I was going to play the let's predict Alabama's last 9 games. But Mason, this Joker's right. If they can come into Tuscaloosa and win next Saturday, he's right.
If they can win the national championship, they can be national champions. If they can do the hardest thing left on their schedule, they can be a pretty good team. This is ridiculous. The confidence to say that with 3 remaining top 25 away matchups on their schedule is preposterous.
Kentucky stinks.
That's BS. Texas A&M is a very good basketball team. I know Auburn is extremely good, and I'm not dumb. I know Auburn is very good at basketball, but this is just purely I love Auburn, so I'm going to say they're going to win. You did not think about you didn't consider how hard that is going to be to win all of these games. 9 games left, you're dropping at least one. Now, I'll give you probably stay undefeated at home. You don't have a tough schedule at home. Jungle's a hard place to come play.
Yeah, Oklahoma, Florida, Arkansas, Georgia, Ole Miss, and Alabama left at home.
You are not going on the road to beating all 3 of Alabama, Texas A&M, and Kentucky.
So what I see as a problem for them, I see these 2 Saturday games as a huge problem. Well, when is that A&M matchup? Because you got back-to-backs. That's 3-4, so that's in a month. So is that a Saturday or that's a Tuesday? So, yeah, I see that's the Saturday. Okay. Yeah, I see at Kentucky and at Alabama are your major ones because of you're playing Ole Miss at home, you're midweek again, and then you're going to Kentucky, and then you're before that, you're going to Nashville on the 11th, and then to Tuscaloosa on the 15th. And I definitely think you're going to beat the brakes off of Vanderbilt, but the back-to-back road matchups. My big thing with them coming in here is I'm just terrified of a cold shooting night. I'm just terrified of can you net neutralize? You're not going to win the inside matchup. Can you wash out? Can you play about even inside? I don't think you can.
I think it's worth noting. We already talked about the discrepancy in defensive play between Alabama and Auburn, and how it's this giant cavernous, massive gap between the two. Both are top 50 in defensive rating. Now Auburn's 14, Alabama's 41. Alabama has the number 1 strength of schedule for offensive efficiency. So they play the hardest offensive teams of anyone in the country.
Yeah.
Auburn comes in at 6th. I just think a little more nuance, to that thing. But, we didn't get into there. And even then, that jump from 14 to 40, that is a very, very small gap for anyone that does not look at the KenPom rankings.
Yeah, it's 3.5 points.
3.5 points. Basically one possession. I don't think that is not such a gap that you can just so confidently state. Auburn is I just know they're so much better than Alabama defensively. Like they're not. It's basically a coin flip on whether or not they have the same defensive performance or not. 3.5 points. Auburn's a great, fantastic match.
Am I just in my fan base feel where I'm terrified of that game right now? Because that's what I am.
I think just a touch. Now, I'm probably overly confident. I'll be the first to say. But I think what we've seen, especially the last couple games from this team, really offensively, and the defense has stepped up. I feel really good about where this team is headed. You saw Aiden Sherrill get involved last game. Saw him really get involved. And we talked about how he can be that guy that gives you another option to stop H&I Broom, to stop Dylan Cardwell when Auburn does come to town. I feel really, really good about the trajectory of this team right now. Given just what we've seen, very, very strong shooting performances the last couple games. We've seen the defense step up. He played fantastic against Georgia. I understand there's a little bit of a discrepancy between the first and second half, but I still think overall it's a great game. Played solid against LSU, especially in the second half. Obviously, had the whole Mark Sears situation, but that's null and void now. I think it's categorically ridiculous to have that level of blind confidence that this team is just so much better than everyone else left on their schedule, because we have seen those teams on this schedule be very, very good this year.
Now, what I do think is that Alabama has the most room still left to grow. I think Auburn is much closer to their ceiling as a team than Alabama is. So you still have 2 weeks to grow before. I just don't want to get punched in the mouth next Saturday and now your chances of winning the SEC regular season are basically null and void, and you blew your shot to close the gap.
The beginning of February is not a good time to be playing your best basketball.
That's true. I mean,
I truly believe Auburn is, like you said, at their peak right now. They don't really have much. There's not a whole lot else. Not really much else they can do. They're playing pretty perfect.
What do we think about Alabama's last 9 games? We're just out of a. Let's see. Click over. You are at Arkansas, at Texas. Yeah, here we do the road games first. At Arkansas, at Texas, at Missouri, at Tennessee, and at Auburn. I got no.
They go 8-1 probably at this point.
2. I don't think you go into Tennessee and win either.
I feel pretty good.
Just because of the daggum whistle that you're going to get, and how just Tennessee plays a disgusting brand of basketball. And you talk about, you watching other teams. I will. You have to pay me a lot of money to watch Tennessee.
It's so awful. Rick Barnes, you should be in jail for what you've done to the game of basketball in the year of our Lord 2025.
Absolutely. And so I think you're winning at Arkansas. I think you're winning at Texas. I think those are going to be tough games. I think at Missouri is going to be a really tough game as well, but you'll probably win. I don't really think you're going to win at Tennessee or Auburn. And then I guess these home games aren't really easy either. Auburn at home, Kentucky at home, Mississippi State at home, and Florida at home. I said what I said about Auburn already, so that stands. Is that a third loss? I don't know how. I don't think Florida's coming into Tuscaloosa and winning. I don't think State's coming into Tuscaloosa and winning. I don't think Kentucky's coming in and winning, but I think they could. I think if you have a turnover issue that night, then it could really bite you. I'm 9 games left. I'm feeling 6-3, Mason. I'm still feeling 6-3, which puts you at 4? That puts you at 18-4. 18 games minus 4 is 14-4, right? And I think you're probably finishing 3rd in the league, 2nd, 3rd, 4th. just based on tiebreakers and BS. And that makes me sad. How much
I don't think so.
it makes my blood boil.
I think at least 7 wins here.
Oh,
The only two that do concern me are the away games at Alabama or at Auburn and Tennessee. Other than that, I'm not overly concerned about any of these. I think Bama gets the home bump against Auburn, then Coleman. Tend to play pretty decent in those matchups at home. Kentucky, like you said, they can cause some issues if Alabama gets into a just run and gun. We're going to turn the ball over every other possession. But we haven't seen that a little bit, so I'm optimistic that maybe they've worked that out. I think this team
turned the ball over 20 times on Saturday.
Yeah, but you also won by 35.
Yeah, that was asked. Nick Kelly asked a good question after the game. He said, "Is it hard to get on the guys about turnovers when you win by 30?" And he was like, "It shouldn't be," but
I think the team knows what's in front of them, and I think that they are surging and getting to their peak, right? Kind of at the right time of the year as we get into the back, third of the season. And I think that bodes really well for what they can do. Sure, I just got on the Auburn fan for having blind confidence in his team, but I'm going to have a little bit of blind confidence in Alabama here.
this is just.
I think it's maybe a little more warranted than his, but that's just my own opinion.
I think my perspective is just a lifelong scarred Alabama fan.
And that's perfectly fair.
Lifelong, just when you think it's going to go right, things fall apart. Oh my gosh! I will never.
Transitive property doesn't apply.
I will never in my life get over losing to Norfolk State in the first round of the NIT in Tuscaloosa. I will never in my life get over that. And I guess I should look. We should all be thankful for that because that loss fired Avery Johnson and hired Nate Oates. But those memories, I remember going to as a student going to an Avery Grant. Anthony Grant, Avery Johnson. I always get the first and last names mixed up. I want to say Avery Grant, Anthony Johnson. No, it's Anthony Grant. I can remember my cousin's not an Alabama fan. I can remember being in school, going to a game. They played LSU and just bad free throw shooting at the end. They lost or whatever. And I can just remember just yelling and my cousin was like, "Dude, what? It's okay. It's fine." And he's like, he was like, "Why are you being this way? Alabama's not really that, y'all don't have expectations. Y'all don't." And I was just because they shot themselves in the foot. And so that's just lives with me.
That's the unfortunately kind of the overarching narrative of this basketball program.
How much longer? How much more success does Nate Oates need to have before my mindset flips into blind confidence? It doesn't have that. Oh, but what if they don't shoot well? Oh, what if they turn the ball over?
You might just have to see it. You just got to see them win.
Oh,
the Final Four run didn't do it.
It was just because the Final Four run was such a
surprise.
Right. It was such everything did come together.
Mm-hmm.
That team
had no business being there.
No. They were so bad defensively all year last year until, we finally want to play a little defense. And so I hope you're right. I hope it is 8-1, 7-2.
I think if you want a chance to the league title or regular season, you have to win if you want the regular season title.
Yeah, because you got to split with Auburn.
Split with Auburn, and then I think Auburn drops one to Texas A&M or Texas A&M with Kentucky. But yeah, man.
Can you imagine? You ever been to the jungle?
No, never had that luxury.
That place will burn down if that game is for the SEC title. If you've made it to the last game, the last day of the year, the last day and Alabama and Auburn are playing, that place will burn to the ground. You've got that game at 1 p.m. on March 8th. 1 p.m. on March 8th. That's the last day of the regular season.
Get you in the door for $450.
Yeah, I told Hunter, I said, you need to drive over for that game because Neville Arena. No matter how you feel about Auburn, that is an amazing place to watch a basketball game.
$450 will get you standing room.
Yeah, so I didn't realize they did that. I've only been there once. I went there the time that they blew out J.D. Davis and J.D. didn't score. And they were dog cussing him the entire pregame. So I sit there in media, right? And the media is like at the top of the rail at the terrace. Okay, no big deal. It's fine. I can see. And I didn't realize they sold standing room only tickets until the crowd was standing right behind me. Like literally, I am over my shoulder and everyone's, oh! And okay, then you have to stand where I'm sitting because everyone in front of me is standing up. And like, this sounds like a complaint, but it is a feature, not a complaint. It was we
need that phone call.
It was, the intensity was off the charts. It was Dante's Inferno inside Neville Arena. And because I just like to be in the moment, I was extremely, and of course I was sad Alabama lost that night, but the spectacle of
it really feels like the way it's built there, it funnels that sound right down to the floor too. I don't know anything about acoustics or architecture or anything, but it certainly seems, even from like the broadcast, which is the only time I've ever experienced it, so much different than what you get in Coleman Coliseum. Because even when Coleman Coliseum is at its loudest, like it still feels like we could crank that knob up a little bit more here. But if you hear the jungle rocking, you can tell through the broadcast.
Pretty intimidating spot. So if you're saving some money to go to that game, I encourage you to keep saving some money because that's going to be a lot of fun. Maybe it's going to be for the SEC championship at the end. Mason, we've gone about an hour. I got 4 or 5 more topics, but why don't we save them for tomorrow? Because it seems like it might be a little bit of a random week. What else I was looking at? I'm looking at a mock draft that did not have Jalen Milroe in the first 2 rounds. What else am I looking at? I'm looking at what's this one right here? That one's on Ryan Grubb. That tab is on Jared Curtis. That tab is on men's basketball. Really, draft was where I was going to go, but I don't want to bog the people down with that as we have plenty of time until the NFL draft, and all that stuff is just speculation. Also, yesterday, NFL Media Day for the Super Bowl, I didn't really pay attention to any of that.
I saw that Devontae Smith's different colors pink, so
oh, nice. Grim Reaper,
like,
Slim Reaper. That's a waste. That's a waste of an event. It used to be so big.
I love Jameis Winston. I think I've had like just this much too much Jameis Winston. They've got him doing his Fox correspondent questions, and like you're funny. I like you, Jameis. Seem like a really, really nice guy, but just tone it down. The whole shtick is like just a little much.
Yeah. I'm going to watch the Super Bowl this Sunday, but I don't care. I'm not going to, I haven't, maybe it's because my Bears have been so bad. I just don't, I'll watch it. It'll be on, but.
It's definitely a lot harder to lock in the NFL when your team sucks. And it sucks like the Bears and the Titans do, where it's like you almost know, well, you have some hope now.
A little.
But,
until they screw them up.
And it's, yeah.
All right, we'll finish this bad boy up. We hope you all have a great Tuesday. Spend some time with the family as you're not watching Alabama basketball tonight or tomorrow. Have a good evening and time with your family. We will talk to you tomorrow. This is the Joe Gaither Show. You follow us on Bama Central, BamaCentral.com. You follow us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and Amazon. Go tell a friend about the show. Lots of you are telling your friends about the show. I appreciate you so much for doing that because we are seeing our numbers go up, and that makes me very, very happy. So thank you very much for subscribing to the show, watching the show, listening to the show, and we will talk to you again tomorrow right here on the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central and BamaCentral.com.
Thanks for joining us on today's edition of the Joe Gaither Show on Bama Central. Keep up with Joe on all his social media pages at Joe Gaither 6. Subscribe, rate, and review the show on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, and be sure to read us daily at BamaCentral.com.